the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear wise and loving Father, thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here today. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of serving the community. I pray you give us wisdom to govern, a sense of the true needs of our residents, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony. I pray for the agenda set before us tonight. Please give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who live and work in and around the village of Hicksville. It is in your most blessed name I pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. Roll call, please.
Baker. Here. Laura.
Here.
Beverly. Heather.
Here.
Kresge.
Here.
Thank you. You have two sets of minutes in your packet tonight. You have the regular council meeting on June 20th and the special council meeting minutes on June 27th. You want them passed separately?
Yes.
Madam Fiscal Officer? Yes.
Don't you call my name? Oh, can you look there?
She's waiting for someone to make a motion and second to approve the June 20th minutes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the June 20th minutes. And a second, roll call, please.
Kresge.
Abstain?
Jones.
Yes.
Heatherly.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Baker. Yes.
Thank you. You have the June 27th special council meeting minutes in your packet that we need a motion to approve in a second, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes on the 27th.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Heatherly.
Abstain?
Laura.
Yes.
Baker. Yes. Jones.
Yes.
Kresge.
Yes.
You have the council, you have bills in your packet. You have a new one placed on the table tonight with a few more on it. So you're approving two lists. Does anyone have any questions about the list?
Mayor, I have a correction.
Okay.
The second page under van work fire equipment, it says 6 pairs of boots, that'll be 8 pair of boots with that line under there.
Okay,
Instead of 6.
thank you.
Why so much?
Boots are around $350 a piece. And for the last 5 new firemen we've put on, we've had to get boots because none of them fit. And then we replaced a couple, so wearing out, things like that. I got a set here that's probably the best ones that I've had that I can keep. If you want to look at them, that's fine. I'll leave them here and you can.
I seen you brought them in, so I figured.
Yeah, I just want you to understand that they have to have that good equipment. The boots aren't cheap. They just turn out here, helmets, gloves, no mats, the whole 9 yards.
Thanks for making the correction. Are there any other questions about any of the bills?
I see when we had a truck repaired, the Farmer Truck Repair Company, what was wrong with the 20?
Oh, that was a garbage truck, and it was all brake related.
I move we approve the bills.
Mr. Jones made a motion to
I'll
approve the
second.
bills. Mr. Headley seconded. If there's no other questions, roll call, please.
Laura.
Abstain.
Heatherly.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
Kresge.
Yes.
Baker. Yes.
You have the minutes from the park board in your packet. I don't know if anybody has anything to discuss about that.
It says that the splash pads, the splash pad is at a standstill, we're waiting for information. What does that mean exactly? Does anybody know?
Well, I talked to Amy today at Rotary, and it's all in regards to some of the grant money that's coming in from the state. It still hasn't been approved from the state. I think we're still getting it, and we were deciding on, there's some other entities, I think, that wanted to donate. So she didn't have a lot of information. She was but I did ask her today about that, and she's going to get with...
From what I understand, there's an application process, and Ken has contacted someone and gave her some questions that he had, and
She was out of the office till tomorrow.
What about I see there's been some breaking and entries. I thought we had cameras down there. In Bay County?
when I received the minutes to the park board meeting, and I read that, I returned an email and I asked if they
Is that something?
caught the person that broke in.
They did
Oh, they
that?
did? Good.
I asked if they did. I think you need to talk to our chief sitting there in
Now,
the
is that something
audience.
that we shouldn't be talking about in public in terms of the cameras and what they're catching and what they're not
Correct,
catching?
Nick.
Okay.
Thank you.
So anybody have any questions about the park board minutes? Alrighty, we'll go to council reports. Has the ordinance committee decided on how they want to approach the open burning?
I thought we already did.
Okay, I saw that was on there and didn't know if it was up for discussion, but you want me just to bring back what we had
I
before?
think, didn't we discuss the whole council?
We did, and then when I saw
Next
that, I was,
bring it, yeah.
oh, okay. All right, so at the next meeting, I'll bring it as with the
Think
time.
I've got any other
Unless
opinions on
anybody
that
has
when
any
he brings it back?
Some residents are waiting to know, what are we proposing in the ordinance that you're bringing back then? I guess, because I thought it was going to be ready last Thursday for people to come out and pick up, and then it
I
didn't
can
get
send it
done,
tomorrow,
so
if that's what,
people wanted to look at it before you passed it.
Well, we'll have 3 readings, so I don't have time,
The only change would be a time
so.
frame,
The time was the
Right.
major one.
but the rest of it stays the same as per,
no smoldering. That was, there's 3 things: no smoldering, no leaving it unattended. It had to be attended at all times, and the third thing was the time restrictions. Those were the 3 things.
those are, the only thing changing is in the time restriction, or maybe if we wanted to put a little bite in the fine. The rest of it was with state code.
That's right.
It was suggested that you consider putting a distance of how close a fire can be to a structure.
That's
Is that in
the
there?
state code. That's in the state code.
I'd have to check
Are you
that.
copying
I
the
don't
state
disagree.
code then?
No. Our current ordinance is from the state fire code.
Right.
It's probably 2 or 3 pages long.
It's
There's
thick.
2 paragraphs that talk about recreational fires.
Right.
The rest of them talk about open burning, like if you were gonna do some type of commercial burning or things like that. There's like 2 paragraphs that talk about open burning.
I read that, and if I'm not mistaken, 25 feet comes to mind. I don't know if that's to a residence, and then maybe a further distance to just an out structure potentially, but I think it was 25 feet from a residence.
So, I mean, literally, if anybody doesn't want, I mean, I can email it tomorrow, and give it an ordinance, like heading, it's already typed up and in there if there's no changes. But if you look at our current ordinance and add those 3 things, that it won't be allowed to smolder, they gotta put it out when they're done, it can't be left unattended, and the time restrictions, which Ron has in front of me, I, off the top of my head, can't remember what they were. but-
5 to 1, but these are the 2.
Right.
The other 2 exactly as you stated.
Right. Other than that, it'll be identical to what we've had for years. It has the size limits about the circumference of the fire and the height of the flame.
No, it doesn't,
Oh, it doesn't have height?
no, what it has is the height of what is burning, what the
Like
fuel.
the wood
is.
pile.
Right, it's the
3
height of the
foot or
wood
less.
pile.
Okay.
in diameter, 2 foot in height,
Height, right.
3 foot, 2 foot.
And that's the fuel, that's not the flame, that's
Right.
the
It
fuel.
has to be clean, seasoned firewood, maybe building materials and things like that. But that's always been in, I mean, that's all.
Yeah, it's always in there.
Okay, well, when you get it done and send it over, we'll put it out on the bulletin board
Yeah, I'll
for people to review. They're asking to see it before you pass it, so. Are there any other committee reports that aren't in the packet? Any committees that have not turned in minutes, or anything committees are working on to report? Okay. Administrators report?
Really nothing other than a couple of issues, and I didn't know if you were gonna touch on sidewalks and trees or not. If not, I will.
You go ahead.
Sidewalk ordinance. Gentleman fell last week over on Spencerville Street. And so just kind of bringing up, council is gonna make a decision what they want to do with the sidewalk ordinance.
I think it's up to the insurance of the homeowner.
Well, then we need to get our ordinance off the books. And I don't care either way. I'm just bringing it up because
Yeah.
it came up last week. So I mean, that's something whatever committee wants to think about.
Or the sidewalk committee.
Are you on that committee, Mick?
Yes, I am.
All right.
People don't have.
We do have people falling on the sidewalks, and you know, we've always, back in the 90s, we repaired all these sidewalks, and we had a regular sidewalk repair program.
Not all of them were repaired. And it was just,
We did everything in the early 90s, we did all 4 quadrants to repair.
We did.
We did not put in new sidewalks.
there were sidewalks that were not repaired, and certain people, it didn't matter who you were. Or maybe it did matter who you were, because they didn't have to repair their sidewalks. And I just react to it, because I spent $1,000 on mine that I didn't have.
I really don't know why anybody would have been skipped, because that was a pretty
question.
difficult program. I remember doing that, and
Good question.
we pushed through it, and the village did the ones that didn't want to do it, so I don't know which ones you're referring to, but,
I'll talk to you after this meeting.
okay.
No, okay. So, I guess, do whatever you want to on that one. Then trees over the sidewalks, whether it's an easement tree or a private property tree, I guess there's been some complaints about people hitting their heads. At this point, I know Mike went out again a day last week. He's not got nearly all the town covered yet on easement trees, but we've probably got 50 or 60 based on the 2 lists he's put together that we'll try to get to one of these days. But I guess just a reminder to residents, if you got a tree hanging over a sidewalk, it's supposed to be 10 feet above the sidewalk. And then I guess the next issue with that is if people don't want to trim their trees up, then we can go in and do it and bill them, and I really don't.
Well, whose
Into that
responsibility is it if that tree is out? by the-
Well, I guess
Whose tree is
trying to
that?
look because
If it's in the, if it's in the easement, it's, I mean, the way that works is it's still the people's tree, but the village has the, it's no different than the power company. You know, the power company, they got an easement on your property, you got trees there. We've had plenty of people complaining about the power company coming in and
Yeah.
whacking off the side of their tree, you know, or whatever, and making it look terrible. They got a right to keep their lines free and everything. The same with us. We got, you know, those trees are in the easement area, the property's still owned by the people, but we got a right to come in and trim limbs to keep them from falling on the road or, you know, or whatever, to make them a danger to people. It doesn't mean that they can't trim them themselves either. It's still their, you know, their tree and their easement. The ones that are on private property aren't our problem.
What law dictates whose responsibility that is? And could you find that out for us?
I can look into it more, but generally speaking, I mean, I guess if you look at it, I don't know that there's gonna be a statute that says
Well,
trees that are here are these people's responsibility. The question is, what if something happens?
Well, my concern then, if there's no law, and if we're gonna trim trees on people's property and then we're gonna charge them, we better have something to back that up.
That's what I'm saying, the stuff that's on private property, we shouldn't be trimming those things, because we're not in the business of, I mean,
well, yeah.
we can name a couple of people that do tree trimming business locally or whatever, that's the business they're in. The ones that are in the easement area, if we think there's safety or property damage related potential issues, then we could go in on their property and trim them at our expense, just like the power company does. They pay.
Would not be at the homeowner's expense.
Would not be at the homeowner's
That's what I
expense on
thought.
those trees. Now, if it's a tree on private, not in the easement area, on private property that just happens to, it's up close to the house and it overhangs the sidewalk from the other side, that's their responsibility. If the branch falls on the neighbor's car or on somebody walking underneath it, they're gonna get sued, for that, if there's a dead branch or something like that.
Again, that's an insurance.
That's a homeowner's insurance issue for them,
Right.
and the village isn't in the business of trimming trees unless we,
Well, see, that's because and the one tree that you specifically mentioned is gonna fall into that category. So we send that person a letter,
What category?
it's a private tree over a sidewalk, and if they don't do it, well, the remedy is then we go in and do it and bill them.
If it's on private property, we do that?
I'd have to look at the statute and see what it says,
Better
but.
time with that.
I'd like, well, see, that's gonna be another one of those, you open up a can of worms.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd like to get away from us being responsible for easement trees trimming, because I read the ordinance. If it's bad, then yes, it's my duty to
Right.
take it down. Trimming or whatever is still the homeowner, because we don't own a tree in this
Right.
town,
That's
except
right.
in the park.
One's downtown.
Well, yeah, you won't know. But no, I mean, as far as our streets,
While you're trimming,
just like say, well, I've only got a little one in my front yard, but say I still had my big maple out there and it fell on somebody, that'd still be my homeowner's insurance,
Right.
even though it was an easement tree. It's not the village's tree. Because people get that mixed up, they think we own a lot of stuff we don't. So I guess that's where, before we even go in and start trimming easement trees, which there's gonna be tons of them,
When a big
I'd like to
limb-
make sure we even have to do them.
When a big limb fell out of a tree that was in my yard in the easement, a huge limb fell out of it, and it, I don't know, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, the village truck was there sawing it up and hauling it away. And I walked out and said, "What's going on? We're sawing it up and hauling it
I don't know
away."
if there's storm damage or whatever, isn't that what you want us to do it?
No, I don't know. I'm just saying, you're saying, you're talking out both sides here. I'm not.
Well, no, it's always been if there's storm damage, we're supposed to go clean stuff up.
Okay.
There again, if you want to get away from that, you just got to let the public know that, in that case, yeah, I guess it's our responsibility to get stuff cleaned up.
Well, didn't we go around in the spring here and you got some guys going around the sidewalks in some certain areas and trimming up some of
I
those?
remember you talking about.
Some
I saw
some
it.
Sight vision ones they were doing
Right, right.
earlier, but now this is an actual.
I thought they did a really good job doing it. I mean, a lot of the sidewalk areas and, just cleaning them up a little bit.
But anyway, I guess it's one of those, yeah, if we got to do the easement ones, we'll try to
well, I'd say we'd have to.
get a few every now and then, but it's gonna be the private property people. If, say Pete's riding down the sidewalk and he conks his head on one, we've sent him a letter, they haven't complied. I don't really wanna send people down there and start trimming up their trees
I wouldn't.
and building them.
I'll
Well,
get opinion from our lawyer. on
Yeah,
that.
I'll have to look.
well, the way the ordinance reads, the remedy is that, it's just like the nuisance and the litter, it's
Right.
75 bucks an hour. Blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't need more people upset about it.
Troy, would you put that in writing for the file, please? So, and bring it back at least by the next meeting or to Kent sooner? Thank you. That'd be great. Okay, we are at the solicitor's report. Thank you, Kent.
Two things I have, the fire levy, I dropped the stuff off at the auditor's office last week, the auditor wasn't in. I left them a message, said if she's got any questions, give me a call, and I haven't heard anything yet, so I'll follow up with her just to make sure that it's, they're supposed to get a copy of our ordinance that we passed and certify all the property and the valuations and everything within a certain time frame. So I'll follow up with her this week. Second reading of Resolution 2016-11 by caption only, a resolution for the Village of Hicksville, Ohio to rehire Troy Essex as village solicitor for the Village of Hicksville. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Chief, maybe Police Chief Ballinger, please? Do you have anything?
Don't have anything.
Okay. And fire chief, we must have assistant, Bruce? Bruce?
He's on a different shift now, so he won't be making, he'll be making Mondays. If anything else, he won't be able to make those. We
Okay,
have nothing tonight.
all right. EMS chief, Lonnie Kessler. Mike, please.
As you guys know, we had Bruce Silcat in class for the EMT basic. He has since completed the class and all the testing requirements. So tonight I am asking to get a recommendation to go ahead and put him on the roster and get him ready for Hicksville.
I would,
I would recommend that the mayor takes the advice of our EMS chief.
I would recommend Bruce Silcott to the EMS department pending the physical, drug screen, and background check.
Okay, with that, he's already had the background check
He's already employed in the village.
and he's already employed with the village. Does he need to do a new drug screen and physical?
Cheryl is doing things a little differently than I did, so,
Because when I spoke to Scott about it, he didn't think he needed to do it.
There wasn't a lapse. There's a lapse with the park people. There's a lapse over the wintertime. There isn't a lapse with this guy. He's already been hired.
I don't think it's necessary for Bruce.
I don't think there's
Okay. Okay.
Why spend the money? He's already working.
Cheryl's gonna get with Lonnie about that. You have the motion in the second, Cheryl? Nick did.
He doesn't.
Right, was it Nick?
Yes, I did make that motion.
All right, roll call, please.
Baker?
Yes.
Headley?
Yes.
McCrasky?
Yes.
Jones?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Thank you, Chief Kessler, and
Just to alleviate any confusion, may I go ahead and put him on our schedule of running as a third person pending speaking to you with the physical and drug screen? Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Bruce, for
Good job.
taking that training and helping us out.
Did he pass?
I'll talk to you after.
Any other department heads that have anything to report? Okay. Fiscal officer,
Have the month-to-date, year-to-date tax statement, the income tax collections report. We have the revolving loan report update through June. And then.
Thank you for that.
I put mayor's report and the police department, their June report that came in today. Tonight.
Cheryl, what are your plans to do about the police pension overdraw? Are you gonna write up an ordinance for the next council meeting to get that out of the hole, transfer money?
I fixed that, remember? I had it in the wrong place.
It's still overdrawn by $3,600. Typically, every year I transfer $40,000 into the police pension fund to keep it out of the hole. So, and I write that ordinance myself, and at the same time, I transfer $400,000 from the general fund to capital projects. So you should probably write that ordinance for the next council meeting and get that out of the hole. Does anybody else have any questions about the cash report? Income tax report looks great.
Yeah. It was scary, great.
And I appreciate the report on the current revolving loans. That kind of gives us an idea what we have outstanding. We have $13,000 in monthly income. I think you all got word that our balance got paid off on our one loan. So, the fire hall's paid off. Well, what do you know? Woo! Let's burn the mortgage. Burn the file.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. That was a $100,000 loan.
Cheryl, how long was that one for?
10 years.
Years must have been.
Year-old.
That's when I was just starting, just finishing building that.
Hard to believe.
Yep.
The money.
10 years ago.
So, just a couple other things. I went down to visit with Crick Miller just to talk to him, see how things were going, and I talked to them about maybe cleaning things up on Hicks Street, especially before Fair Week, so that since the fair traffic's directed down that way, that maybe they could clean things up a little bit. She was very receptive to that. And she also said that they have free dirt that they're giving away. So there's piles down on Oak Street, which is also known as Hicks Street in some areas. People can go down there and get free dirt, and they'll load it for you. So Kent still needs some more clean plastic grocery bags for commodities. And Mike Barth had a great idea suggesting that council members volunteer at the senior citizens tent on Wednesday, August 24th during lunchtime. And I called the director, Linda Mahone, and asked her if she could use our help, and she said certainly. Senior Citizens Day is Wednesday, August 24th from 9 to 5. The day will be filled with entertainment, food, music, bingo, and fun. Anybody from council that can volunteer should be at the senior tent at 11:30. And lunch is served from 12 to 1. And she would like to know who to expect. And I thought that was a great idea to go down there and help them with that, especially Senior Citizens Day.
Days that fall on.
That's a Thursday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yes.
Well, since half of us are senior citizens, you can go eat. I'm not one myself. You can let her know. I mean, I'll be glad to relay the message if you let me know. All right,
I will go, Diane.
okay.
Put me down.
Nick, Mike, and Ron. I'm sure they'd take other village employees also. In case any of our department heads want to go down.
Melanie? I said she'd go.
Okay, great. Okay,
Aren't we supposed to be working?
I'll be working.
yep, we'll be working. And then, yeah. Does anyone have anything else to discuss tonight?
I know the engineers are coming up on the 15th. We're going to look at over with the contractors of the projects, so going to meet with them. And then after they get done, if we had looking for a water sewer committee meeting after that point in time.
This will be the new representative from EMHT. When is this?
Well,
That's correct.
The 15th, they're coming for pre-construction meetings with the contractors.
Yes.
And we'll finish signing contract book.
But the EMHT new engineer serving us or helping us will be there. What time on the 15th?
I've got it out on the board. I want to say the first one's at 11, the second one's at 1, but double check my memory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not far away.
Right.
Kent, I might have passed the information on to Mike Bailey, but I got a letter from the county commissioners that they had a contractor to tear down our house that the county was gonna pay for, and I haven't been down the street to see if that's done yet, or you know when it's getting done or anything.
No, the email I got said they might have to hire an asbestos inspector to go in first before they do.
I thought they were going to.
Yeah, I don't know, Mike had just forwarded that email to me. Beyond that, I have no idea.
Okay,
I don't know if the guy's been there or not, or anything.
well,
Diane, Thursday morning, the commissioners will be here. Perhaps they can be asked. Stephanie is the one who wrote the email, and she'll be here.
okay. I see some improvements around town. I think people are cleaning up the yards nicely. There's still a few places that we need to work on a little bit, but all in all, I think the community looks pretty good. So with that, thank you everyone for the jobs that you do for the village. I think all the employees are doing a good job. See them out working, out and about. Thank you. So I guess we can have a motion to adjourn the meeting if that's what you'd like to do.
I'll make that motion, Mayor.
Okay?
I'll second.
We have a motion to adjourn the meeting in a second. Roll call, please.
Dick Wrightsey.
Yes.
John.
Yes.
Mark Hedley.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Barth.
Yes.
Thank you.